Y'all, I could not be more excited. I'm just gonna say it, make America great again, y'all. Woo! I know most of y'all were like me. We were on pins and needles last night. It's hard not to be on pins and needles, not to be totally stressed out, but you know, this was a turning point for us. This was a crucial time in America where we had to decide to put people in positions that had so many evil intentions. And I'm not saying that Trump is perfect, because I don't think he's perfect. I don't think Vance is perfect. I don't think any of them are perfect, to be honest with y'all. But they are a much better choice when it comes to defending Christian values, morals at stake here, speaking the truth, being honest with people. You know, we have watched so many of the Democrats get in front of these cameras and tell bald-faced lies, y'all. So there is more integrity to truth there as far as the Republicans go. And you know, I talk about this common sense stuff a lot, but illegals that flood our nation, they shouldn't be here illegally. A country cannot survive flooding in of illegal immigration. And a lot of those we know are criminals running from other countries, whether they're brought here, because we've had reports told to us before that they've been brought here. So whatever that looks like, it shouldn't be. So I'm so thankful that we now have a party in power that understands these common core things that are just common sense. I mean, there's really no other way to describe it. And not only that, then when you talk about simple things like abortion, I think that the majority of us have enough common sense to say that pro-choice is just a fancy word for saying that a woman gets to murder her baby. And I think America's had enough of the lies. It wasn't a wave last night, y'all. It was a tsunami. And I think America has finally had enough. Now, my biggest concern, and really where I was at on pins and needles, was not as much with Americans getting out to vote. It wasn't as much with feeling like our core country still has morals and values and common sense. We can all look around and say that we know this is beyond common sense. Even if you don't have common sense, if you look at a piece of paper and look at the facts of where we are from when Trump was in office and Biden was in office, y'all, you're living it. People can hardly afford to live with gas prices, grocery prices. Everything is more expensive. So you can't say that we're living a better life now than we were financially 4 years ago. And then morally, we know we have seen more and more moral decay, as that's probably not going to get any better. But at least we won't have laws that are taking away freedom of religion, to where, if we say, hey, we don't agree with transgenderism, we still have the freedom to do that. Where I really feel like if the Democrats would have went into office, our freedom of speech would have been censored very much so, in the point of, I heard Kamala Harris with her own mouth saying, it was actually relating to Donald Trump, and this was some time ago. But the whole bottom line is she was saying, yes, his accounts should be shutting down, that he's inciting violence, and all of this nonsense that was actually, none of it was true at all. But when you talk about taking the sitting president and censoring his speech, and then you're okay with that, if you can do that to him, then you're going to do that to everybody else. And that is, my friends, is a very big problem. But outside of all of that political nonsense, this is what I really wanted to tell y'all. Now, I know there were a lot of us praying, me including. Actually, Colby doesn't even know this. He's going to hear it when he watches this video. But praying was a big deal for our country. I actually fasted from the moment I woke up that morning. I didn't eat until after I voted, and prayed. Every time it would come to my mind, I would just pray, Lord, please, your will be done. You know our hearts. And a lot of us done that. And there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that God's hand was all over this. From the assassination attempts that we've seen, that his life was just at a very, very, literally this much, y'all, tilting his head enough to take it out of his temple, basically to his ear, just a head tilt, y'all, his life would have been ended. There's no way anybody can ever convince me otherwise that that was nothing more than a miracle from God to allow him to then get in office. But what I was going to tell y'all, what had me on pins and needles the most, and maybe some of y'all too, but was the election integrity. I was very concerned after 2020. I was actually felt like I was having post-traumatic stress from worrying about what was going to hold through the night. Were they going to try to bring all these things in when we were asleep and just say that they found all these votes like they did last time with all that mail-in garbage? But it seems to be that Trump was already ahead of that game and had people and eyes and places to make sure none of that stuff could go on. So very, very thankful. I think that we would have probably seen that in 2020. Even if he would have lost, it would have been so close compared to what really happened in 2020. So it would have been much more close, even if he would have lost. But I don't honestly think voting people voted for Biden like they did. We're not going to go there. I know there is a lot of proof of that out there pending in courts, even all of these years later. But I'm so glad we did not have to go through that again, y'all. That was probably my biggest concern, is knowing that if we got cheated out of this election too, then democracy, and if you don't know what democracy is, please do yourself a favor and look it up, because the liberals like to throw around this term that they don't fully understand. I really feel like our democracy with the Democrats going in office would have been jeopardized for sure. But my main point of this whole video is everybody prayed. I really feel like God heard us. He delivered us from the hands of the evil ones seeking to take over our country. However, it's not over, y'all. This ain't over yet. We have years worth of praying to do. It's not our job to stop praying. It's our job to continue to pray. So we prayed. The election integrity fell right where it was supposed to, especially if you're a conservative Christian or just have common sense and can see past the lies that are being told by the left. So we made it past all of that, but y'all, there's still so much at stake. We have to wait until January the 20th. There's a lot that can go on between now and then. I know Colby is going to come to y'all and talk to y'all more about kind of what that looks like. But for one, we have to keep him alive. We already know there has been attempts on his life. You cannot tell me this was random acts of violence. I do believe we have so much corruption in our deep states that there is no doubt in my mind that this kid could have outsmarted supposedly the most intelligent agency of our country and them not have some hand in it. So I said all that to say we've got to continue to pray over his life, over our country. He's got to remain humble. We've got to remain humble, but we can't stop praying now. We must continue to pray. Firstly, that he can stay alive, like I said. There's still a lot that can go on, and to be honest with you, I know y'all think like I think as America as a whole, because if y'all didn't, then we would not have completely turned red like we did. Y'all, there are states, there are counties that have not voted Republican since 1954, I believe they reported on last night, either 54 or 56. So I can't remember which number it was, but anyway, there have been counties after county that have flipped because we are tired of the garbage. We are tired of the lies. We are tired of our family suffering for what these politicians get in the office and they say this and this and this and that. And the Democrats always seem to make it worse. They make our inner cities worse. They're full of lies. They want to cause division And we as American people are tired of it. So I want us to remember that this is not over yet. We've done our part. We showed up at the polls. We voted. We have prayed and prayed and prayed over our country, but we cannot stop here. It's not over. We have to continue to pray that he stays safe, that these loony leftists don't do anything crazy in order to try to hang on to power, because they are power hungry. By all means, they are. We've seen that. I'd even seen a report where one of them had said that y'all go out, you cast your votes for Trump. This is a summary. But even if he's elected, we will not let him in that Oval Office. Y'all, if you want to talk about tyranny, well, there you go, right there. But you know what? God is bigger than that. God is bigger than them, and we cannot change God's plans. So if it is God's will to spare Trump's life, let him win, y'all, by a landslide. He just blew me out of the water. Then you know what? They can't change his plans. So it is our job and our duty to continue to repent and pray and ask God to do only what he can do. So I am begging y'all to please don't stop praying, because it ain't over. Guys, thank you for watching. Let's do our part. Let's repent and continue to pray and reach out to the only one that can do what he has done thus far, and that's make America great again. It's up to him. I'm not talking about Trump there. I'm talking about the Lord. Guys, God bless and happy homesteading, y'all.